speeding?
It's a double speeding.
Yeah, give me a clap.
One more, a little higher. Sorry.
Higher pitch?
Just
high.
up towards your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
Do you have any? Do you have his mic in the tight shot?
Where is it? No, not really. It's like right on the edge. It's okay.
That's better.
I'll frame it out.
I can. I don't know. Sorry.
I think that's fine. I don't see it. I think where we left off was carbon fiber gun.
Kevlar. Yeah, it's gonna be Kevlar. So before we even got to really testing the carbon fiber, we saw that the impregnated nylon with Kevlar was like 29 times stronger than ABS parts. Like comparing the same degree of strength, the same layer of strength. So the gun is Kevlar, the new one.
But did you guys didn't even print the carbon fiber one?
No, that's just it. Like the printer can do carbon fiber. And
Right.
I was always thinking it was going to be carbon fiber because that's got all the hype. But it turns out that the Kevlar printed pieces are like the strongest ones. So as soon as we started testing that with our little ISOT tester, all the development went in that direction. We haven't even played with the carbon fiber yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Okay.
I've only done with like the Kevlar.
And what about the Kevlar? Were you able to successfully print it?
Yeah. And in fact, we just got an upgraded hot end and upgraded software. It's not what you want like with like a 5-axis machine where you put the Kevlar anywhere you want, any part of the piece. You kind of have to design the piece based on the limited ways that it can put the Kevlar into it. It's got this kind of very simple like floor ceiling way of impregnating the piece with Kevlar, but as long as you know if there's one direction of strength you really want in your piece, it's doable. So like barrels and breeches, these can be like really well made with this printer, and we've made them.
Dude out there.
I don't know how loud it is, but it's kind of bothering me.
Yeah, where's
He pulls my attention every now and then.
Yeah.
where's Mr. Nadles?
That just have Max tell him we're shooting, and then he needs to go somewhere else. Max, you hear us? This guy needs to tell him we're shooting.
You try to move that guy?
What's he doing?
Sucking. That's just sucking at life.
He's just chatting on his phone. I think that's like a business center or something.
What happened?
I think he just gave Max the Heisman.
He's turned away. from
Strong
it.
arm.
I think I worked.
All right, well, we got to just keep going.
Fucker.
Speeding. So you guys, first of all, tell me about the printer, like what went down. I think the last time I saw you guys just got it.
Yeah.
So what happened between you guys getting it and it was in there and you were trying to figure out, you were trying to get somebody to help you hack it so that it wouldn't trace back to you, or it wouldn't be able to find you or whatever when you were printing? So how'd that go down?
Now they're talking about the movie. Let's talk about the movie right here. Okay, so are you ready for me to answer this?
Yeah.
So come to find out, the way that the business model out of this group in Cambridge, the way they developed the business model around their printer is that it phones back home with what you print, what you design, touches their server, and you actually upload your part files to a part server that they run, and it's part of how they make the printer work. It does a little bit of the work, as I understand it. I think it analyzes some of the part, but really a whole lot of like the lion's share of the work is still happening on your computer. And maybe from a customer service point of view, I see why they do it, but I think ultimately it's just to give them a better sense of control over how the printer is being used. Though they don't admit it that way, they don't describe it that way. Anyway, we found out this both in their terms of service when we actually got the printer, and then when we were actually looking at their software. They send tokens with their part files, and you have to upload your part files to their server. So this allows them to stop you and break your printer if they see that you're working on parts that they don't like. And I don't think there's a case of them doing this yet, but we know that there would be heightened scrutiny with our use of their printer because they already refused the sale. And they should at least expect that we, especially when I put a bounty out for one, they should expect to see one of their printers pop up on an Austin, Texas, ISP or something. Although we're not that stupid, but still, they're looking, and they would be able to intercept our work after we upload some work after a while, and surely they'd be able to stop us. So we had to find software that didn't talk back to their computers. Either that meant hacking their software or finding an alternative.
So how's the ghost gunner shit going right now for you?
Man, last time you were here, that was like hard, right? That was, you guys were there right when I was in the shit.
Yeah.
The whole summer was bad. I was clawing out the whole summer, but it's the best it's been ever right now. So we've got cash. We got, if my money was to shut off today, which it technically is still shut off today, but if my money was to shut off, I'd have room. I'd have a couple months to figure something out, which that's all I asked for, And I didn't have that when you were here. I was about to go down, but things are fine, man. Lots of sales, hundreds and hundreds of more machines have been sold. We've shipped over 700 machines now, which is like substantial. And we'll probably make some type of announcement when we shipped 1,000. It's more. There's like 2 or 3 more guys working the shop, and now we've expanded to doing to selling the receivers themselves, not just the machines. So we're moving toward defining this whole ghost gun phenomenon. We're not just entering into the space. We're moving toward being the primary company behind this activity.
So what's your money situation like these days?
In terms of so I just met with my bookkeeper last week, and for 2014 we had almost negative 300,000 in real income. So I've never had a ton of money, but I'm unlike some of my other anarchist peers, right? I'm comfortable acquiring lots of capital, spending lots of capital, doing things with that money. Sometimes ostentatiously having to spend money, but I don't think it's ever wasteful. I'm comfortable acquiring and taking risk at a higher level. Like this year, I just paid taxes again on Dark Wallet because you have to pay taxable gains. You have to pay your gains when you sell Bitcoin. So I paid taxes for Bitcoin twice, 2 years in a row on Dark Wallet. But I'm comfortable doing that. And Ghost Gunner is the same thing. Tons of risk. It's still tons and tons of risk for this company. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's expensive. We did maybe we hit 2 million in revenue a few months back, and I thought that was really cool. I never thought Ghost Gunner would make that much money, but because of the lawsuit, because of just the endless variations of different kinds of software licenses and approvals and taxes and things we had to pay. Capital improvements, capital expenditures, repairs, things. It all just goes. We still are in a phase where we're just paying startup costs. We're just in a place where we're broke and starting to make a little money as a company. But I know that there'll probably be years left of this lawsuit, so we have almost no overhead, right? We do zero marketing. We have zero sales force, no CRM, no real MRP systems. It's just labor and volunteer software work, and we keep it as cheap as we can. But even so, the margins being as healthy as they are on the product, I'm super broke. But that doesn't mean you can't do the project. The project keeps happening.
So what's going on with Dark Wallet?
Man, if you asked me this question a week ago, I'd just say that Pablo's lost, the developer's lost. No one can find him, and the rest of the team is largely out of contact as well. But the band's getting put back together. So mostly because I had to like, there's some frustration in the Bitcoin world that like the highest rated privacy project is not being developed, and two, that there is a renewed appetite for privacy after we've had some block size debates and other things that have kind of panned out in a way that just leaves a bad taste in the wider community's mouth. It's like the wider community was about a year or two behind where we were, and now there's this renewed appetite for privacy again. So there's all this external demand for the project to continue, and of course I'm smarting from paying all this money in taxes for it and seeing relatively little in return. So I'm willing to put it back together. Jarmill and other people are willing to put it back together. We'll just put a new team with more like American influence, I think. Start it back up again overseas, do a knowledge transfer.
What was the tax bill you just got?
It's 40 grand. I was like, this is really expensive. Yeah. You know, I stay broke. It's like ever since I've left law school, it's like every year, it's like I just left law school. Like I'm still in incredible student loan debt because every single year there's some kind of project that I end up paying the taxes for. So I've kept the lifestyle of a broke college student ever since I started all this.
What kind of flack are you getting from people who donated to the campaign, Dark Wallet campaign?
None. I get none. Now I've seen comments out there for years. Like, hey, where's my T-shirt? Hey, but I don't get any. So I think people in the Bitcoin world have largely known where the problem was, where the cinch was, or like the knot, if you will. But mostly, I think there's still goodwill, you know. But people, I think, rightly, have like an impression of this other side of Bitcoin, which is though like idealistic, not as good at executing. And I'll take a little responsibility for it, but mostly like I raised the money, Amir brought the team together, then Amir was lead, then Amir left to go do what Amir's doing, and then once it was handed over again to another lead, that guy disappeared. And if your guy disappears, what can you do?
And people know that in the community?
Yeah. Everybody who's interested to know knows. So, no man, all the flack I get on a daily basis is still from Ghost Gunner. These customers, this is great, like this level of expectation is great, but still, you know, people expect a polished consumer product that it works, you know, without fail, exactly as it's intended, every time, no problems. And there's still rough corners on this thing. You know, it's only been in development for just over a year, so I still get tons and tons of just flack from whenever people get a machine that doesn't work the way they expected it to work.
So you said you're putting the band back together. What's the plan exactly?
So I have what I think is a good plan, but I'm gonna have to be deferential to what Jarmill and the other people think is a good plan. It mostly just depends on, like I'm happy for it to be contingent, but it mostly depends on what of the original development team, whom the original development team wants to come back in and can be contacted. And then what the politics of personality are, who will be lead versus who wants to be lead, and who the power brokers are that ultimately help make this decision. You know, a lot of like social anarchists want things to be non-hierarchical, they want things to just kind of coalesce around consensus, and that's probably the way to do it. But I think an American should lead the project, and I have a guy in mind. Just because the kind of continental elan about these things is now dragged out to where, well, we'll get it done, we get it done means it'll never get done. I've successfully brought Ghost Gunner out, so I'm willing to spend some of my attention again on bringing this back into a place that has like reachable objectives, you know, concrete goals, at least what I understand about project management.
Tell me about going to Europe though. Like do you have a plan to go?
I think the plan
track
is
people down?
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to waste my time tracking like Pablo down. I think we're going to call a meeting among the reachable developers in Amsterdam. I'm going to send 2 people right now. I'm going to send 2 people from the States. I'm going to go there, and at least the first couple of days, I'm going to make sure that Jarmill and I are going to be largely the main power brokers. And if I'm happy with the team that shakes out, I'm willing to put some money behind it. And then I'm happy to come up with a plan with them to find money to develop it for another 6 months, a year, to get to beta. I just need to understand. Like I need to have everyone look at it again and tell me, all right, what do we need to do to get to where we need to be? But I'm willing to give it my attention again. So that's all I'm saying. Like I'm gonna fill out the personalities, the politics, and recompose the team with more of my own influence.
How did Amir's absence make this process more difficult?
I don't think it can even really be pegged on Amir. It's just that these projects are seen as lifestyle endeavors more than they are seen like in an American point of view. A startup company. Darkwater wasn't composed that way. It was composed as, well, let's communally get together and contribute this code. It's a huge undertaking. There was a mailing list that Pablo set up, and there was lots of interest, but they always saw it as an ongoing, with multiple participants, collaborative project, which had this communal element. And when you do it that way, I think there's just this feel that you can extend it indefinitely, and that it's not managed the same way a traditional software enterprise is managed. And I'm not saying that it necessarily should, but it suffered from all the expected cons since it wasn't managed that way. So it hasn't yielded any of its fruits yet. Is that what you mean? I'm not sure I picked up the main thread of your question.
I guess I was trying to get you to say, well, whether Amir bailing on it
I didn't expect
has made it more difficult for you. It's put more kind of stress on your shoulders.
Not really. I mean, when I handed it off, like when I washed my hands of it, I felt like I had separated successfully, and that I had no more responsibility toward it. I got them all the money, I marketed it correctly. And it looked like they were taking it from there. They'd set up a forum, they had a new designer, and it looked like it was in everybody's hands. And I guess Amir probably made a similar decision later. Okay, this looks like it's going well. I'll hand off to Pablo, I'll get out of here. I think Amir was wrong. But ultimately, I don't know all the factors that he knew when he made his decision. But no, it didn't really affect me. From day to day, I don't even have to think about it. It's just, you can feel where the mood is right now in the community, and there's a desire for it a renewed desire for it to be executed and for it to happen. And I have, I think, a little bit of time and maybe some money on the way to help make that happen. And I feel some responsibility to do that since we brought it up and started to get it going.
Mm-hmm. So without revealing anything, tell me if you've heard from Amir, what kind of sort of contact you've had with him, and
yeah, I've heard from him.
When you expect him to maybe return.
I don't think he's gonna come back. Amir's not coming back. I don't think that he thinks he's coming back. Not in any version of this present will he come back or feel safe to. And he must have known that when he left too.
So you think it's in addition to the mission, which we can't really talk about. There's also a safety factor of leaving Europe.
Okay, he's unsafe, but not in the way you think. I mean, the police have found his family, found his mom and dad, and they know that he left. They know where he is. So, what, he's gonna step back into that? I mean, hell, I'm thinking of not ever going back to the UK at this point, just because of my connections to these people. I mean, just because the last few times I've been through, they gave me hell, and this hadn't happened yet. So, I'm not exactly. And if I feel that way, he must feel the same way. Though, he's known for having this reputation for being kind of unrealistic and childish about things. Surely, he's done a lot of growing up, but he can tell as well. Just like the rest of us, it's not a good bet to try to come back at all right now.
Has there been any discussion with him about these thoughts, and does he have any thoughts of what might happen to him? Has he mentioned
I don't think he dwells on it. He doesn't dwell on that kind of stuff. I haven't heard him say anything like that. He's just convinced there's a real revolution happening. He wants to be part of it. He wants to be committed to it, and he wants to bring outside expertise and knowledge and capability.
No, I mean with his safety issue. Like, who told you about his family getting the cops raiding his house?
Should I say? I don't know if I should say.
You don't have to say if it's not Amir. It's just tell me if it was
Yeah,
somebody
it was Amir.
else.
Yeah, it was just one of Amir's friends told me, and then I told Amir, and he was like, yeah, and he confirmed. So I mean, yeah, it definitely happened. And obviously his family knows too. They could tell people.
Just
so.
lost Mike. Just lost your mic.
Yeah.
Average.
Must have been.
Yeah, it says a lot better.
We got one.
Sound speeding.
We only got two.
Give me a clap.
No.
Cool. Good.
So just give me that fact again about Amir's family.
So, I mean, I don't remember how I said it, but did you say it like so you know that they came and visit? Okay, yeah. Yeah, like no, there's no question he was visited. His family was visited by the police. His mom, they got to his mom, they got to his dad. And then one of his friends told me, and I asked him, and he said, yeah, he knew. So I mean, he knows that. So at the very least, he knows it's not a smart bet to come back right now, or for the foreseeable future.
All right, so we'll jump into a whole new topic. The Peter Thiel conference.
Maybe when Sharia law is implemented. Okay. Even then, right? He's like on the wrong side of every fight, though. So.
Yeah.
Uh,
The Sonora Island. Let's talk about any anecdotes on that conference. What was that like?
yeah, I don't know if it like violates whatever. Not that I have any etiquette. Sure, man. This is what bothers me about these Thiel things is like you know about Palantir. You know, I think this is coming up. It just passed. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's what bothers me about. It's a specific like species of these types of events in the Bay Area, even among libertarian or so-called libertarian communities. The startup culture is stronger. The need to get big fast is stronger. And so even though in the name of libertarianism we're doing incredible technological things, these companies find that their business model is based around getting as much public money as possible, as much DoD money as possible. You see what I mean? And so like we end up building these terrifying engines of state power, which all we have at the end are like these kind of lip service bumper stickers that people have, like, well, but we won't use it for ill. I mean, this is like the justification I get from these people like, at lunch and dinner. It's like, well, but we decided, it should be us instead of anyone else, and we'll never use it offensively, whatever the hell that means. And now it looks like I'm all dour about it. I mean, I always love going to these things, meeting these people, incredible people, like first-rate minds, right? And I'm very like convinced I'm a second-rate mind compared to these people. I'm always around just incredibly talented people, and it's so refreshing and incredible to have conversations with them, like really difficult, incredible conversations. But ultimately, like there's a certain like they have a refusal to really examine their supposed moral authority. They pretend that they have a moral authority that they really don't, and then maybe this is the wrong way to talk about it, but still, they're doing something and saying something else. And the disconnect is obvious and clear, and it's impolite to bring it up almost, but everyone's on the same page, and it's like I can't find another group of people to kind of help me triangulate. Not that I'm alone, there were other people there, like the guy building Open Whisper systems, and still, it just doesn't make you feel good about the future of the internet whenever I go do these things. I mean, if you just want me to like tell you some stories or something, fine. But,
No, it's just curious about it, but I don't know how it's going to play into this, to be honest, because we don't really necessarily have any
Every other year or
footage
so,
or anything.
I'll get like invited out to something like this, and I'll go. And you gotta go. You gotta meet these people. And it's true. They're all of a similar mind. I mean, none of them really believe in the lasting potency of the current state structures. But like Elon Musk, right? He's worshipped. This guy's worshipped, not necessarily by this crowd directly, but I mean, Thiel and other people are hard invested in this guy. But what's his whole business model? His whole business model is doing something that's technically private, but doing it with just vast government federal subsidy. His power stuff, his Tesla car stuff, I mean, it's all just the space stuff. It's all just like heavily subsidized by the state. And is that really something worth worshiping? I mean, I don't know.
So, what's going on with freeross.org, and are you still helping with that cause?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Like, it really sucks that I don't have any personal money right now. Because this month I was supposed to have finished a little vehicle that would have been able to help them raise money. Looks like I'll get it done next month. But yeah, I'm trying to build an organization, another organization. Its board is interested in finally helping raise tax-free money to support American political prisoners. And Ross, I think, is the best example of, the highest profile example of our generation's American political prisoners. And it's not being talked about that way. It's not being dealt with in that way. And I think lending people that vocabulary in a way that isn't just, oh, let's go protest outside the jail, or isn't it wrong, isn't it terrible what they're doing? No, let's actually implement a structure for tactically combating the way that these prosecutors, this prosecutorial class, are just sweeping up the best minds of our generation. When they have good ideas, I think it's useful infrastructure to build. And I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get it done. Yeah.
How do you think of what do you think of his odds of winning the appeal?
It just depends on what you mean by win, man. Like, do I think he can get a new trial? Like, I think that's the thing to go for. I think it's possible that we can even get whole segments, substantial segments of the evidence they used thrown out. But ultimately, like, even minimum, at a minimum, he surely would get a different sentence, a smaller sentence. I mean, like, well, when you talk to his family, you talk to his parents, and we're all really optimistic, man. He got railroaded so hard that I bet a friendly panel would go, look, this was a travesty. And the whole world might be back, opened up to him again. I'm not trying to be naive. I'm just saying that he got ramrodded so hard that there's lots of reasons to be optimistic.
Tell me about the communication that you've had with him. You said you got a letter or something?
With Ross?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, I forgot about that. Yeah, Ross sent me a letter. I don't know if I brought it. I might have. But look, man, I've not read a lot of letters from jail before, and I think he had like a stiff upper lip about it. And he was just saying, "Thank you so much for helping my mom. Thank you so much for helping this." And I don't think I'm betraying him by telling you the contents of that letter in that way. He was just saying thanks and fine. I mean, I haven't gone out of my way to meet him and talk to him. I don't need him to say thanks to me. Like, I think it's just the thing that you should be doing. Like, everybody talks a big game out here, but like, how many people were there for Ross in the beginning? How many people are there for Ross right now? Just when the rubber meets the road, like quote unquote anarchism. Like, it's mostly a feeling for people. They don't really do anything with it. They don't really like. I don't know. So I just hope that like in the final count, I would be known to be one of the guys that really tried to help him. I tried to pull my weight and do it, and I'm not looking for any other special recognition. So I hope he doesn't feel like he had to like contact me. I wasn't looking for that. But. So yeah, I mean, what the tone of this letter? Yeah, it was just thanks, and he can't. There's not a lot he can say because he's got this appeal coming up. He can't really. What else can you say? But you could tell he wished to be out and to be like fighting a good fight. he'll get to be.
Any further thoughts on Charlie Shrem going to prison? Now that it's been a few months.
Look, I'm gonna get mine, and someone's gonna say what their feelings are about me going. But yeah, man, you know, he thought.
I guess any new thoughts, because we kind of went over like.
Look, he just thought he wasn't gonna go, and I don't know why he thought that, right? And that typifies his entire experience to me. This whole time, he thought somehow he'd be, you know, he wasn't really prepared for doing the things he was doing. That's my read. But look, we're all young. We were all young when we started this stuff, so I'm not. I think he was upset with me, like he was sore with me when he went in, but just because I said it was humiliating what they did to him, especially at his sentencing, how he prostrated himself. I wasn't criticizing him. I was just saying like what they did to him was a form of terror, and he was humiliated, and that is what's pathetic. Not that he's a pathetic person, but anyway, yeah, he'll get out winter, summer, and he's done, right? So he'll get out, he'll be fine. But I'm not looking to be sidelined that long.
So speaking of Charlie and Bitcoin and the foundation and everything, what's the state of? Are you staying in here?
Nope, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's the state of Bitcoin now? Last time we talked, it was like basically, you know, the Bitcoin Foundation. You know, you were trying to get elected, didn't happen.
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Like now it's
no one pays attention to the Bitcoin Foundation now. It's completely peripheral in its influence, always was. And, other groups are being more effective at interfacing with like the government. I think its reputation and is officially ransacked, and no one really gives it the time of day. I haven't heard really anything about it. I know Bruce Fenton keeps kind of struggling to give it relevance. Fine, whatever. I'm largely satisfied because all the jokes you see out there about it are that like what happened to it was what we wanted to happen to it anyway. It's just kind of been dismissed, and its whole reason for existing for the 2 years that it did have more significance was as a vehicle to a platform to help Gavin subsist, and then Gavin jumped ship and moved to MIT. So it doesn't have any key engineers. It's struggling to put conferences together. It's just as peripheral as any other nonsense Bitcoin organization. It has no more influence.
So what's the general state of Bitcoin right now?
General state?
Yeah.
Look, man, I've been out, especially like the last 6 months, not paying attention. There was a big fight about block size, but I think in the end, the if it's not broke, don't fix it crowd won, and miners and other people just said, look, Bitcoin has a definition, and we're going to keep running what is essentially Bitcoin, and we're not going to go to these other implementations. Mike Hearn and Gavin, like some of these core developers, were trying to push Bitcoin into a new development direction, and that had the I think approval of a lot of like the nascent Bitcoin cultural and news organizations. But look, man, at the end of the day, you've got to get people to switch over to doing it, and people are just going to run what is Bitcoin, and people are going to work on developing Bitcoin. I don't think we're going to split off right now into a totally new system. So.
What about regulation though? Like a lot has changed. And
yeah, sure. The BIT license went into effect. It was what everybody said it wasn't going to be, which is like an overwrought piece of regulation, which scared a bunch of New York firms out of business. Anyway, everyone's tolerating it, and now California's following suit. They've got a new BIT license in committee, and they're trying to work it out, get it passed. It's just going to be a slowly evolving patchwork form of state licenses that begin to cripple and harass any kind of like novel form of Bitcoin services, to where you're just going to mostly get reduplications of the Bitcoin banking companies that have just the privileged connections and approval of legacy finance. But again, I don't think that really impedes what Bitcoin is and can be. It's just a shame, and all the real talent in Bitcoin right now is mostly being spent on just getting fast cash in a startup that doesn't really pretend to add anything meaningful to what Bitcoin can be.
So where do you see Bitcoin heading in the near future, and then farther down into the future?
Like it's really good. A bunch of Chinese people are using it. because when they, China's going through different rounds of capital controls, and apparently people have connected those decisions to the recent spikes in valuation and price. So DD still holds some Bitcoin. I still hold some Bitcoin. I still believe in it ultimately. But you have to develop a culture of freedom, and if no one's using it, or if it shakes out all of its radicals and it just doesn't become politically useful, then it'll just stay disused, But there's big companies like 21Co, and here's the stuff that you haven't seen yet, and people don't even understand because it's just at the far edges of tactics. But when we move toward an Internet of Things, if these devices are also like essentially Bitcoin computers, people are working on well-financed ways of pushing Bitcoin to the far edges of the network, to a way that people will begin to spend it and really like. I'm optimistic that it'll be much more valuable, and that'll be much more kind of surreptitiously pushed into usefulness, even against, I won't say the final part. I'm still optimistic about the future of Bitcoin.
How do you see it connecting to the Internet of Things?
So there's this company called 21Co that just got some Thiel money, and that's basically their idea. Their idea is that, well, God, it's hard for me to put it down for you just like this, but all this use of electricity will eventually be compensated and be used for productive output of a very minimal, financial value. So everything will eventually, electronics and the Internet of Things and API calls will all be contributing toward the production of Bitcoin. And basically, the real version of the internet will be something like a consistent layer of microtransactions always happening between interactions, or that drive interactions. So basically Bitcoin is the answer to the microfinancial layer of transactions of the internet. I don't think I'm being very clear.
Is it do you mean the mining of Bitcoin will be powered by these things, or?
I think no, not the mining specifically.
Or is it spending?
Yeah, it's like little Bitcoin computers will be like mining will be like more decentralized too, but mostly it's the use electronic communication itself will push micro bits of Bitcoin back and forth around a network. Your use and implementation of a network and your use of devices itself will be kind of adding fluidity to this network. I really believe that's the vision, and then once you scale that, you'll have this kind of persistent, systematic, just fluidity of digital currency that will actually correct certain market relationships, content relationships on the internet. The internet's kind of a sewer right now. Not that anyone needed me to say that, but the advertising model, just what drives, the clickbait, it's just, it's because a lot of things haven't been corrected, and you'll see. There's another company too called Arithmetic that's just now starting, which understands. And anyway, Bitcoin is the answer to what a new internet looks like without this advertising model, which makes sense of the relationship between content providers and consumers.
So that first company is called 21Co. 21Co.
Yeah, Balaji Srinivasan. You might want to catch up with him.
You sent me a crazy blog post about somebody who's supposed to be Variety Jones. Well, what was up with all that?
You know what? I don't even want to. So I didn't read back up on that last night, but the Silk Road drama continues. Okay. Can you hear that?
Sorry. Oh, he's right there.
Yeah, it's right on the window.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about the whole Variety Jones thing because it doesn't really come into this film at all at this point. But it is interesting.
I mean, I went to this NRA thing, and there was an FBI agent there. And then that alone, I was like, why is there an FBI agent at this NRA thing? But, and then she told me, because of course I went up and talked to her. And she was like, oh, I'm actually Texas's cryptocurrency expert. Okay, why is Texas cryptocurrency expert at this NRA thing I went to? It's like an invite-only event. You know? But she was telling me, you know, FBI's concern is Silk Road, third and fourth generation type sites. I believe that players like personalities like Variety Jones are just free radicals who probably are just double agents or characters that are just kind of spun and created, there to add and sow confusion. Or more like me, they thrive on this type of confusion. They thrive on this disarray, and they get their money and their reputation from.
Did I ask you about Hilary already?
I don't know, but we talked about a little bit in the cigar bar. Is he building a gazebo?
I don't know, he's like cutting sheets of metal or something.
When it was wood, it wasn't that loud.
He's got like just like a thin piece of metal that he's slicing up.
Look, my opinion about Hillary is that the only brave position is wanting a Hillary Clinton presidency. And I know people would think like, oh, you're being childish and not serious, but when I probe my heart of hearts, any other presidency is not going to be as tough on what I do and guns, and is going to kind of stall export reform. The real challenge, the real potential for overcoming and achievement is a Hillary Clinton presidency.
So you just strictly see it as it would be beneficial to DD if Hillary wins and starts.
Not just financially beneficial, but like, look, there's moral economics here. You grow fat, you grow lazy when your values aren't constantly strained and tested and needed to be employed. And I believe that people will just kind of relax and not build infrastructure if there's a Trump presidency, if there's a Cruz or Rubio presidency. They won't. Everything will relax, and people just kind of hang out for a little bit, and they won't feel a sense of urgency. And that's how I think about it. I'll do my best work. I'll do the best things I've ever done if there's a Hillary Clinton presidency. Is it the same guy?
Yeah.
Why did he move?
He didn't move. He said like fuck you to us, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he really? And then he was like, well, what are you filming?
I don't know what his deal is. It's just
I'm gonna take a minute anyways.
cut it.
Stretch my legs. Give me a clap.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you want Hillary to win, but who do you think is actually going to win?
I think Trump will win. I think Trump can win the presidency. Yeah. I think so. I'm kind of excited about it. Maybe a more like realistic scenario, or trying to be too smart about it, is like Trump will be final three, and he'll be a power broker, and he'll give all his delegates to Cruz, and Cruz will find a way to become president. But it won't be Rubio, and it won't be Jeb, and I kind of feel like Carson will be a power broker for Trump in the end. So yeah, I think Trump can make it right now. I mean, we're only like a couple months away from some of the first stuff. So yeah, and once once you get Iowa and New Hampshire, I mean, it's like a snowball thing, man. I think Trump's going to be there at the end, which is crazy, but I think he's going to do it.
What is the exclusionary rule to the Fourth Amendment? You know anything about that?
So what, as we've cited in our brief?
I think it's in there. It's either in your brief or in the Silk Road transcripts. I don't remember.
We don't talk about it. I think we talk about the Fourth Amendment in my brief, so I guess it's a Silk Road question.
Yeah, it's a Silk Road
I can't
question.
speak to it. I can't speak to it.
Do you know about the violation of Ross's Fourth Amendment rights?
As I understand the Fourth Amendment theory with Ross's trial, it's the way they took the laptop, the way they got access to a lot of the information, and then even the way they provided, collected digital records of what they looked at. It's all spoiled if it was improperly acquired, if it wasn't legally required. He has the right to privacy. Something this high stakes, I mean, I don't know, an appellate court can completely choose to, on Fourth Amendment grounds, throw out the laptop. And if you throw out the laptop, wow, you lose a lot of stuff. So that's always been my understanding of it, that the way they took it, the way they got access, the way they had more of like a general warrant than anything else, or a total lack of warrants for specific things, they just kind of started fishing around. They might end up losing a lot of it.
So I came across this quote from Bertrand Russell that I wanted to throw at you, see what you thought this
Philosophy of
means.
science.
Ethics is in origin the art of recommending to others the sacrifices required for cooperation with oneself.
For cooperation with oneself. Okay, fine. It seems like rhetoric to me, or persuasive redefinition. But I like Badiou ethics. Ethics is a way to find a method to keep going, a way to find a fidelity to a truth, a subjective truth, a way to become, as a subject, immortal. I mean, to recognize unique values and ways of life. But this is a radical ethics, I guess. I like that better than Kantian ethics. I mean, like universal, kind of universal boiling down of just bare normative principles that can agree across all cultures and times. That's not ethics. That's the modern ethical ideology. Sounds neat, sounds fancy, but I like when I talk about ethics, I like talking about it in a way that enables my people, us, to find a way to keep going.
Are there objective ethical facts in this world?
Yeah, like the way you talk about it, are there objective ethical facts? I don't think so. I think everything is situationally ethical. Everything. And any lobbed accusation that I'm a relativist, it just doesn't stand for the truth. I think even Christ recognized that and worked in that position. His most confounding moments against Pharisees and Sadducees dwelt in this ethical twilight between that was situationally dependent. I don't think I'm being a weasel about it. I'm saying that sometimes, yes, it can be correct to murder your countrymen. You know what I mean? That's the extreme case. But did I answer your question?
Yeah. I don't remember if I asked you this, but what is moral skepticism? And are you a moral skeptic?
Oh, like whether morality as a field of inquiry is even a real scholarly worthy thing, yeah, I think so. When I use morality all the time, I talk about morality and say the word moral, because it comes down to what is the American right, if it's useful for anything, especially with the gun politics, how does it keep winning on the gun issue? It's because it finds, unlike any other issue, a way to be morally superior on the issue. Same thing with abortion, although they're less successful there. But they find a way to be morally superior. It's inextricable from the political. And sorry if I've tainted a whole concept, a whole inquiry with nothing but the political purpose. I know morality is bigger than politics, but Morality is useful talking about ways of life and concrete values. And when a group of people get together and decide, this is to what we're committed. And I don't think that there have ever been like radically antithetical morals before, like cultures where people, value murder rather than life, and things largely coalesce along an expected boundary. But I think that morality exists, but it exists in a way. It exists in a kind of political wave. Man, that's not the right way of talking about it, but I can try again if you want.
Well, you want me to ask you a question again?
Well, look,
what is moral skepticism?
If moral skepticism is, are there morals out there? Can we drill down into the intangibles of any act and decide, irrespective of context, whether an act is moral or immoral? Then yeah, sure, I'm a moral skeptic if that's where we're going. It seems related to your other questions, but there's no great tablature up in the sky that we can find. But I do think morality as an avenue, as an available avenue of practice and tactics in politics is valid and available, and that it should and can be employed. So yeah, I think it's fair game to claim the moral and to employ the moral, and is real in that sense. You better believe it, man. Like some of the stuff I have to come, it's gonna be based on moral authority. It's gonna be based on really, maybe I'm not there yet as a personality, but boy, I'm getting there on some of these things. I'm getting real close, and I'm going there because that's the strongest stuff. More on that later, maybe.
Well, what do you mean more on that later?
When it happens.
Later down,
it's so hard to I feel myself in transition. Everybody's in transition, but yeah, where I feel like the urgency and the deep kind of well springs of power in the political are more and more abutting the moral, redefining it, claiming it, locating it.
It's just batteries, man.
It's dead?
It's about to die.
Should I cut?
Sure.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here's something I don't think I've ever asked you before. Oh, give me a clap. What's the nature of liberty?
I mean, the easy answer is autonomy, in one word. Autonomy. Having the path clear before you. I mean, that's, I think, a good traditional classical definition, but you want me to go somewhere else?
No, I mean, if that's your best answer.
Sorry. I mean, I could be more, everybody wants to fight about what that means. Everybody wants to pick a different kind of label to distinguish themselves from their peer groups, and we have the real answer for what freedom is, human liberty in our lifetime. It's economically determined. No, it's a material condition. I think to boil it down and make it valid for most philosophies and strains of thought is largely autonomy. I like Nietzsche's definition, which was freedom is overcoming. I think that's a bit more charged, and I like it. But I think it means autonomy, the ability to have the path before you cleared and doing what you want to do.
What was John Locke's influence on modern libertarianism?
Boy, I bet that's contested. I mean, when I think about Locke, I can't help but think about it only in an American conversation. So Lockean, revolutionary thought, the ideas of consent of the governed, and these are explicitly Enlightenment era Republican ideas, which fall apart after 100, 200 years of real rigorous implementation. But can we really carry on with a fiction about the consent of the governed in this scenario right here? Does this city really work upon the consent of the governed in any large sense? I mean, I don't think we would agree. But located where they were at the time, I mean, yeah, radical stuff. You know, it helps give us the transition toward a proper Republican government out from constitutional monarchy or, you know, like any other form. And it was the right rhetoric and the right, man, I don't want to diminish him. The guy's a giant. He's a towering figure in history, you know. So is Burke. I mean, all the conservative idealists. I respect all of them. Where do you want me to go besides that?
I mean, what was it about, what did Locke write or say that you can kind of string a thread between, a through line
To
between,
me?
No, well, not specifically you. I mean,
Let me make sure this quote is him.
maybe to you, but I was thinking more about in general libertarianism, but maybe to you too. I mean, maybe that would be stronger.
Look, okay, you want me to just go in? Where Locke and libertarians agree, although, you know, American libertarians will just, you know, bow down, but I mean, where Locke and libertarians mostly agree is, you know, what's the purpose of government? What's the purpose of law? And the purpose of government and law is to help maximize or preserve freedom, liberty, the individual's capacity to be free, to pursue his own ends. And this is directly at odds with other progressive schools of the purpose of government, you know, for justice, for social justice, for the implementation of equality, you know, leftist strains or Marxist ideology. So sure, Locke is a forebear, just like all the classical liberal thinkers can be claimed by libertarians from time to time. All the thinkers of traditional classical economics and economic thought, economic rationality. I mean, it plays into libertarian thought. But this is where, you know, the problem is that libertarianism is more like a train depot, like a nexus of thought that actually leads toward other concrete philosophies. Libertarianism itself isn't a real politics.
So how about what's the through line from Locke to you? Your
Yeah, like so where there's law, where there's man's law, where there are government forms, they should be there to preserve liberty. And man, to say it that way, right? Proudhon says, well, you know, liberty actually gives you, or liberty gives you. Okay, maybe. If you're on the road with Locke, and you get to libertarianism, you're gonna get to minarchism. You're gonna get to anarchism, if you keep going. If you take it to its extremes, you'll get there. And an individualist strain of anarchist thought. People take the stuffing out of me all the time for being like, I know where I come from. I come from an American political system. I was raised in America. I identify as an American, right? I come from the conservative South, right? In the late 20th century, all right? Everything there, all the ferment there is a conversation about the individual's relationship to his government. So like I see things only through an American prism, in the American experience. And all indigenous American radicalism was never like committed continental anarchism or communism. It was always this just hybrid mix of thought, which just maximized the individual's ability to disregard his state, his institutions, his church. You know, that's the American tradition, and I place myself there. So I'm not trying to be exactly adherent to a particular school of continental anarchist, you know, philosophy. I think Locke is more my forebear than Bakunin, right? I mean, so yeah, I naturally would integrate Locke more than I'd integrate some continental thinker.
Do you seek happiness?
Yeah, maybe. In like a roundabout way, I guess. I mean, I seek fulfillment. I think everybody seeks fulfillment. What I do is deeply fulfilling. I mean, I remember being my first job after my first year of law school. I mean, I was falling asleep, man. It was like it only required intellect and an ability to read. It didn't require anything. I wasn't able to throw myself into it. I throw myself into this stuff. Physically, it saps me. You know, I just give everything I can to it. All my emotions, all my fears. It's everything. It requires everything of me. And if I'm not happy, it's still deeply fulfilling, engaging. Well, I mean, there's this it's incredible, man. Like you stay awake because if I do something wrong, I go to jail, you know, or worse. I mean, something crazy. If I piss off the wrong person, you know, like outside of these formal structures, maybe I like die, you know. It's electric, and I won't pretend that like it just my commitment to all this just comes from a place of absolute, you know, certitude about a political position. I mean, I'm fascinated and engaged by this, and I have a taste for it, and it's growing, and it's just so much more. Like the colors are better, right? I wake up and I pay attention. I'm living in a way that like I know other people aren't.
Do you enjoy life?
Yeah, like I enjoy, like every day I get up, like I'm just happy to do it, man. Like I'm not trying to say like it, like you're not going to be happy doing this, and I've had very few days where where I'm just like, wow, I'm so happy right now. Pretty much every day is like an endless, train of miserable outcomes that I have to worry about, and then I'm usually really tired, and that makes me like sad, but but those are all like little moments in the day. The whole thing, like I'm so glad to have all this stuff to do. I'm just so engaged by it. Yeah, it's great. I like it. I like getting up and doing it. It's a challenge that I enjoy meeting, but I don't think it's the same as happiness.
Do you ever wonder or think about what the point of all of this is, life and just existence in general?
Yeah, for sure.
And what do you think?
Man, I'm gonna be tempted to like give you platitudes about like, well, you have to, life. The whole purpose of life is artistic self-creation and whatever. I am worried that, like, from a philosophical point of view, I'm less and less doing novel creative things and more just spinning myself into the structures that I think I'm criticizing. I'm mostly just getting swallowed up in them, and all of my vital energies are just being sapped, all of my substances being eaten out. And for what? Like, what, do we really think we're going to win this lawsuit, right? I mean, sure, we win on paper, but come on, when does that get you a victory at the Supreme Court? So, but I still believe, I'm still committed to the belief that in doing this, the signaling, the social signaling, the communication of a certain set of values, and the way I do it with this kind of impish like indifference and contempt is so valuable to a whole group of other people who are working. I think that's true, and therefore, I think about these other things, these other big questions, but I believe what I'm doing is purposeful and valuable. You want me to try another way of answering?
I mean,
I think about the big questions. Sure, everybody thinks about the big questions.
Yeah.
I try to have the conversations every time I can, when it's real, when it's not just someone reciting something that they enjoy reciting, and you can tell when that is, Or sometimes you can break that down and finally get to the real stuff. But I enjoy that, If the conversation's about sex, death, or religion, that's the good stuff, What else is there?
Cool. That's all I got. Let's cut. We should get the Hilary card before you take the wire off. I mean, no, I think we should do it standing up or something, not in this. Probably do it handheld.
This organization I'm building for Ross, well, so all you schmucks, when you come off the train cars, they're going to tell you to go left, right? But I'm going to make sure this is still on me, and they're going to tell me to go right. No harm can befall me. Her rod, her staff, they comfort me. I might, though, in the end, put this down to 100 or something. 9,000, it's you know how liberal politics works. It's well, why didn't you support her sooner? But that's the only mark against me, right there. And since I love it, it's right there, right? damn, I've been a supporter for months now. So, and this is unchallenged, man. Nothing bad can ever happen to me again.
You get a wider shot of it, or what do you think?
Yeah.
Or just step back a little.
I'm pretty
Like,
sure
kinda
too.
where
Like
your chair
I could
is.
probably walk into any building. I could probably walk into any building in this city. I didn't even think about this. You know, we saw those like police kiosks and stuff, but I'm pretty sure like at this point I could walk up to DOJ and go right to the top floor. I like that. I think that's what this is about too. Like now all the institutions work for me. So yeah, I'm real excited about that.
Be standing just like a little more where your chair was. Here. It's a little hot by the light there, but.
This is the real deal. You know why? I mean, I get Hillary Clinton emails every day. Sometimes I get Bill emails, Huma emails, and sure, I'll give them more money. But I made it official.
So why would you give Hilary your money?
She's gonna get it one way or another, right? See, look, I heard it was like, look, give us your money, you'll get an official Hillary supporter card. I mean, come on, how could you not go for that? I sprung for that immediately. Concrete proof. I'm a literal card-carrying member of Team Hillary. You're gonna need that in the times ahead. It's a very valuable piece of equipment. Now I have my Trump hat as well, but that's just for Sundays. That's just for going out, having a good time. This is much, much more useful. This is gonna get me out of trouble, man. You don't even know. Once or twice in my life, this is gonna be the thing. It's like, I've slept better. I've slept better since I've had this.
Get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I mean, I really think this is what American politics is about, ultimately. It's like, look, red team, blue team, at least I got my card, you know, I don't have to even, do I even have to say anything? Someone calls me racist, I'll just pull this out. Or whatever, you know. I'm now inoculated against all forms of harm that can befall you in polite society.
All right, so let's just quickly tell me about the Black Cross, the thing that you're building for Ross.
This organization will be the American Black Cross, and that symbol is so disused to the point of, have you ever heard of the Black Cross before? You know, like no one's even heard of it. It's so underused. So first it came from like an intuition to reuse the sign, because that's an important symbol, and it's not being used. And I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna do everything I can to turn that entity into a really big, politically driven humanitarian organization.
And how does it connect to Ross?
Well, its first purpose will be the first board meeting will be about determining what to do, what campaign to set about supporting, and I think the highest profile political prisoner in America right now is Ross Ulbricht. I don't think he should be forgotten, and so our organization will be about helping him not be forgotten, but also raising money for him and his appeal, tax-free.
So it's going to be a nonprofit.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be, look, man, you know, we got the American Red Cross, right? This is going to be the Black Cross. I expect for it to be a complete competitor to this organization, all right? But instead of just paying, you know, like whatever, some board in D.C. to like eat 80% of your money, all right? Now you support America's political prisoners, and not the ones that, you know, just get like ground up in Cleveland and Philadelphia, rounded up on the street or whatever. I'm talking about the people who are being harassed and arrested, all the best minds like Ross and those minds to come that are constantly going to be swept up in these big nets. This boomer generation constantly trying to squeeze our lifeblood out because we have good ideas. It's an organization, it's about trying to build some of the infrastructure to protect these minds who are going to get swept up to come. It's that. And then I think, yeah, it'll have a purposely humanitarian bent. I mean, it will be an antithetical alternative to the Red Cross. That's really what I want to do with it right now. I want to take it all the way.